everyone. It's time to tune in to Alternative Frequencies, the show that brings you what the other side has to say. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Alternative Frequencies. I'm your host, Stephen Hill, author, electronic medium, empath, DJ of the dead, and creepy voice on your radio. We've got a great show lined up for you this evening, as my special guest is Karina, who is a channeled medium. And Karina will be taking your calls and giving readings, or perhaps if you don't want to call in, we can give you a reading from the chat room. If you're not in the chat room, just go to hazyradionetwork.com and click on the on-air chat button right on the home page, and you can join all the other great folks in the chat room right here on Alternative Frequencies. Before we bring Karina on, I would like to go over some very thought-provoking spirit radio communications from a session yesterday and then today. Is there a hospice on the other side of the veil? We'll hear what the other side has to say about this and more when we come back from this quick break.
Dixie Ghostland Paracon, Aiken, South Carolina, July the 27th and 28th, 2013. www.lightstream-media.com. 4 major paranormal and historical hotspots, paranormal celebrities, paranormal acknowledgments and awards. Come see paranormal celebrity Blaine Rohan of Scare Radio International, Stephen Hill, author of Something Unseen and radio host of Alternative Frequencies, Andrea Perrin, author of the trilogy House of Darkness, House of Light, Jason Staton of Ghost Chat Radio, the Paranormal Rebel with Sepia, co-manager of TAX, Jeff Leeper. Also see Daryl Campbell of My Ghost Story Caught on Camera, the entire team of paranormal pros, Kim Brulette and Chris Matheny, co-authors of Secrets in the Shallows, and radio hosts. See the Bama Boys of Deep South Paranormal, Sci-Fi, and Keith Age of Spook TV and the Orb Tones. Come to Dixie Ghostland Paracon, www.lightstream-media.com.
If you'd like to find out more about Something Unseen, you can do so by visiting Amazon. Check out The True Story of My Haunting, Something Unseen.
The views and opinions expressed on this network do not reflect anyone here. Thank goodness, because there's a reason we're all on radio instead of TV. Therefore, we shall not be responsible for any personal injury, property damage, accident, delay, world wars, sudden appearance of unwanted nose hairs or blemishes, collapse of the World Bank, freak accidents, delays, or inconvenience, or more importantly, being out of chocolate fudge ripple ice cream at Ben & Jerry's.
Ay, caramba!
We take responsibility for nothing. We know nothing and will admit to nothing.
You're listening to Alternative Frequencies with host Stephen Hill. Now back to the show.
I'd like to give a big shout out to all the great folks over at the Hazy Radio Network and also my UK affiliate, Birmingham City Radio. I'm so happy to be with you this evening. Is there a hospice on the other side? A place of transition for those who have recently passed? Well, I'm not sure. But here's what Ed had to say about it. Now, Ed is a spirit that showed up on my sweep session. And you can hear in this file at the beginning, he tells me that he's dead.
Dead.
You're dead. What's your name? What's your name?
Ed.
Ed? Ed what?
Ice.
As you could hear in that file very clearly, a voice says, I'm dead. when I inquire about his name, it gives me the name of Ed. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I'll play this for you again, and then I'll let you hear what else Ed had to say.
Dead.
You're dead. What's your name? What's your name?
Ed.
Ed? Ed what?
Christ.
Later on in that same session, I asked if Ed was here, and this is a very thought-provoking reply. Is Ed still here?
Hospice.
He's in
That hospice.
Now, what I hear in that file very clearly when I ask is Ed still here is the word hospice. And then he goes on to say dead hospice. Now that makes me wonder, is there in fact a place, a hospice, for recently crossed spirits? Again, I'm not sure, but it does cause me to wonder. Here's the file for you once more. Is Ed still here?
Hospice.
He's in
That hospice.
So during a radio session I conducted just this morning, I tried to get back in contact with Ed to find out more about the dead hospice. And when I reached him, here's what he had to say. Ed. Ed, where are you?
In my hole.
In your hall. I'm always trying to find out answers from the other side. And what I hear in this file is when I ask, where are you? His reply was, in my hall. Here it is once more. Ed. Ed, where are you?
In my hole.
In your hall. Now, where Ed's hall is, I don't know. Perhaps it's in the hospice that he was speaking of. So many try to come through on the Spirit Radio during the sweep sessions that sometimes they just have that one message and then I don't hear from them again during that session. And I think that was the case with this morning. He did have one other thing to say. Later on, I asked, what frequency are we on? Because I'm always trying to glean information from the other side as to how this technology of radio sweep or ghost boxes actually works. And here's the reply I received. Hey, what frequency are we on? Power.
Frequency.
What power? Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I hear in that file, when I ask, what frequency are we on? Because I've had suspicions that the sweep of the radio bands creates its own frequency, one that they can tap into. And the response I hear at first was, love you. Well, it's nice to know I'm loved by those who I communicate with. Then I hear, power, boss. I'm not anyone's boss. But I asked him, power? And I hear a male voice say, is a frequency. So I asked, whose power? And a female reply, yours. So perhaps they are using my energy or power to facilitate the communication. Hey, what frequency are we on? Power.
Free. See?
What power?
Here's.
And what this show, Alternative Frequencies, is all about is giving spirit a voice. And my special guest, Karina, channel medium, does just that. We're going to be bringing her on to give you a reading right after this message.
Dixie Ghostland Paracon, Aiken, South Carolina, July the 27th and 28th, 2013. www.lightstream-media.com. 4 major paranormal and historical hotspots, paranormal celebrities, paranormal acknowledgments and awards. Come see paranormal celebrity Blaine Rohan of Scare Radio International, Stephen Hill, author of Something Unseen and radio host of Alternative Frequencies, Andrea Perrin, author of the trilogy House of Darkness, House of Light, Jason Staton of Ghost Chat Radio, The Paranormal Rebel with Sepia, co-manager of TAPS, Jeff Leeper. Also see Daryl Campbell of My Ghost Story Caught on Camera, the entire team of paranormal pros, Kim Brulette and Chris Matheny, co-authors of Secrets in the Shallows, and radio hosts. See the Bama Boys of Deep South Paranormal, Sci-Fi, and Keith Age of Spook TV and the Orb Tones. Come to Dixie Ghostland Paracon, www.lightstream-media.com.
You're listening to Alternative Frequencies with host Stephen Hill. Now back to the show.
And we're back. If you're just tuning in, this is Alternative Frequencies. I'm your host, Stephen Hill, and we're trying to get Karina, channel medium, on the line. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Karina, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you perfectly.
Okay, so I guess we're going to do this from my cell phone.
Okay, well, sometimes spirit interrupts our communication, as I well know, and I'm just so thrilled that you could be with us tonight.
Me too. It's such an honor to be here, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, well, the pleasure is all mine, and I wanted to ask you, Karina, how did you first discover your gift?
Okay, it's an interesting story, actually. I grew up back home in Ukraine. I'm not from the United States at all. And when I was about 5.5 maybe, I remembered that I was with my great-grandmother. And I asked her what happened to her husband. And she's like, was about to tell me, and then all of a sudden this huge picture window came up in my real window, and I could see what happened, and he was shot in the heart. So I said to her, was he shot in the heart? And she says, oh my God. And she sat down in a chair, and we had a really long discussion. But I remember her telling me to keep it kind of like down low because of the Soviet Union rule that everyone has to be, equal and the same. You couldn't really go and say, hi, I can see things, especially 5 years old. I really understand it. So I had to learn it. So she had to teach me how to tap and feel and all to that. So it's quite a fascinating story. That's the gist of it.
That is quite fascinating. And as you developed your gifts, what made you decide to make this your passion?
What really made me decide was when we immigrated to the U.S. I was 10 years old, and I was an only child. And but before I even turned 10, I would get like little things, like we weren't going to be in the apartment that we lived in, or it was just different things that would kind of give me like the clues. But I never really somehow followed it until we came to U.S. And when I was about 10 and a half, I had this vision where I went into the kitchen, and I was either pouring milk or water, something to drink, because I know it was pretty late. And in the corner of my eye, where my table was, my kitchen table, I could see this like little shadow of a person sitting. And then I'm like, and I realized what I said out loud was, Edward, you better do your homework. Mom's going to be mad. And then, I didn't have a brother or sister. And sometime after that, my mom and my dad were like, oh, you're going to have a baby brother. And I was like, what? You know, because I realized that shadow was what I saw. And I knew that he was coming. So after that, I decided to take it full time. But I didn't fully come out until I was about 16 and a half to close friends. And in 2007 is when I publicly came out.
Well, we all have to come out.
I just went on and created like a little small website. I started posting on Craigslist, and I actually accepted it. I actually fully accepted it. And people would come to me, and I remember the first person that I talked to, I was thinking, oh my God, the entire time I'm thinking, am I telling them, like, you know, am I lying? Am I, you know, what am I doing? I mean, where is this coming from? And when I got done with her, you know what? She's like, can I book for the rest of the year? I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And I said, what did you think? And she says, you're one of the best. And I said, okay, you know. And after that, I realized that I'm supposed to accept this. No matter where I went, Spirit was there. No matter what I did, Spirit was there. And it got to a point where I even now know when my mail is coming. Like, I can be busy and they'll say, mail's here, and I'll go out, and guess what? My mailbox is full with mail. Or, you know, go to the grocery store and buy X and X and X. And then I come home and I realize I was supposed to buy it because we're going to make a salad or something at home. So I accepted it all the way.
Well, those are just little validations, and I love those. I get them all the time. And, for example, the other day I told my son, and I do this quite often, I said, oh, your phone's ringing, and he'll pull it out of his pocket and look at it and say, no, it's not. And I'm like, well, it's going to, and within 30 seconds it'll usually ring. And so just little validations.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it's absolutely, you know, it's not easy to accept this, but you have to, because, you know, if you get up every day and you already know, you know, what's going to kind of come up, or, you know, you have all these people depend on you, you basically becomes your life. You know, it's not even a job, it's a life. Exactly. You're committed to this thing for like the next 100 years.
Exactly, and I understand what you're saying as far as when you tell someone something, you feel so obligated to be correct, and you don't want to give anyone wrong information. And
right.
self-doubt is something that I think we need to push aside when it rears its ugly head, because self-doubt is what holds us back. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely, because, you know, it's like, you can kind of tell yourself, like, okay, you know, calm down, you are one of the best, you know, but to hear it from another person's mouth, you know, then you kind of take a step back and you go, like, was that message really an amazing thing? Because you get to see their faces change, you know, and you're like, you know, it's an amazing experience. It's just breathtaking to have them come in, or even on the phone, and they tell you how, you know, bad it's been, for example, and then you give them a message from anywhere, you know, either from reading or from mediumship. You see their face changes or their expression on the phone. You start to feel a little bit more like in control, and you start to open yourself up even more and more. So it's a learning experience every day.
Yes, it is a learning experience. And, you know, I know there's people wanting a reading, but since it's my show, I get to go first. So if you would do me the honor of giving me
absolutely,
a reading.
I would love to.
Now, how do we want to work this? Is it one question?
Well, why don't I start with what I feel, and then as we kind of go a little bit along, then you can, of course, ask me a question. But I just want to give our readers an understanding this is not a rehearsed show. The answers are completely my own and your own. And what I feel from you right now is that you have a lot of exciting things that are coming. I mean, a lot of things that are coming to you. But I also... Did you just say something, or is that like something in the background?
Excuse me?
There's like a noise in the background. Was that you, or is
well,
that me,
sometimes spirit breaks in. I did not hear it.
I just heard like little...
Well,
Sorry.
they whisper.
Just wanted to make sure. Anyway, like I said, you have a lot of exciting things that are coming. I also feel there is either a newborn baby that was just born or will be born. But I feel like this baby, if it's here, it's already gifted. And what I mean by gifted, it could be just, gifted hands, or it could be that later in life they will develop some sort of like a healing modality. But I don't think they're like a reader per se. But I feel like they're in tune reader. Like they'll feel into things and they'll say, oh, this meat is like 90 days old or something. But that's later in life if that person is already born. If they're coming, they are going to be very, the birth of this baby is going to be very interesting, because I feel like the baby's going to want to come and then it's not going to want to come. It's kind of like in between. It hasn't decided, the womb or, the airplane. But that's what I feel, a baby's on the way. But I also feel a lot of celebrations coming up for you, especially. And I feel writing, and I feel that really strongly. And I also feel in the past, they're bringing me into the past. I feel in the past it was all about, like, you've struggled a little bit. And with certain things, maybe just meeting new friends who would understand what you do. Some wouldn't, but I just feel like your past has taught you a lot. And now your present is more better because of the past that you've had to go through.
Okay, just to give you some insight into my situation, I did have a new baby in our family, my grandson, Jackson.
Aww.
And he was born with a heart defect, and at 4 days old he had open heart surgery. But he's home now, he's doing very well.
Aww.
And he is special, and you're right, he did want to come, he didn't want to come, and then he ended up being an emergency C-section. And, but he is doing so well, and just appreciate all the thoughts and prayers that everyone has sent on his behalf. But if you have anything else for me, that'd be great. And if not, we'll open the phone lines up.
I'm not sure I have a question, really, because I don't want you to give out such private details on air, because I feel it's your privacy also. But I think that if you have a question, I can certainly go ahead and answer, because I will have your permission then.
Well, I would just like to ask you, what is, well, I think I know what my purpose might be, and that's giving spirit a voice, but I just wanted to ask you, am I on the right path with what I do?
What I feel for you is working for spirit. So it could be writing, it could be radio, it could be speaking about it. I feel you are on the right path, but I will just explore it a little bit more deeper. So maybe writing how you meet each person and what you do to help them and how they get a voice. But I also feel that you are very, very creative in arts. Like you could draw or paint or, like, I feel like if you go into a room, okay, and say it's got white walls or something, and you look at it and you go like, oh no, it's got to be like deep red and with orange stripes or something. That is the message. I'm just giving you an example, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a point that when you don't do that, there is a message in each color, almost like you give them color therapy, like orange is for creativity and say red is for passion, but also for grounding. So that's what I feel.
Very good. And all of the above, I do. I'm a published author. I've wrote about my experience and my journey thus far. And it's funny you mentioned, the writing about how you met people and how you tried to help them. And that's what my next book will be about.
Yay! Will I be in the book?
If you keep going like you are now, yeah, probably so.
I'm just asking. I gotta butter up the host.
Well, you're doing a fine job, and we're going to open the phone lines. I know there's people here that want readings. I know Jay would love a reading, and the phone number is 704-246-3460. And if you'll give us a call, we'll put you on live with Karina, channel Medium. Now, Karina, you use tarot cards as well in your readings. I'd always wanted to try that. I've been told that I would be maybe a good card reader.
I actually do teach. I actually do teach a 15 weeks class.
15 weeks. Wow.
Yes. So you meet like once a week, or you can do it twice a week. You can finish them. Basically, it's 15 classes, but I spread it for 15 weeks. But some people take like 3 classes in a week, and they're like boom, 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 boom. So, yeah.
Well, that's quite in-depth, 15 weeks. And we do have a caller. Let me see if I can add him to the group without cutting us all off.
Okay.
Area code 870. You're live on Alternative Frequencies. Oh, and we're having a little trouble hearing you.
Hello?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Karina, can you hear our guest? Who is this, by the way?
Yes, I can.
This is Jay.
Jay.
I got through, by the way. That's great.
Well, absolutely, Jay. And thanks for calling in. And I'm sure Karina has some insight for you.
Well, thank you.
So how can I help you, sweetheart?
Pardon me?
How can I help you?
Well, I was just wondering if what you had for me there. Spirits are very active here tonight.
Okay. The first thing I keep getting, and I'm going to be blunt with you. I'm not going to beat around the bush. The first thing I want to ask you, do you want to know everything?
Sure.
Okay. Just want to make sure I have your permission. The first thing I keep getting is about a breakup. Like, did something recently happen that is causing you to have a heartache?
A breakup?
Yes, like did you go with someone separate ways? It could be a loved one. I'm not talking like specifically like a boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm talking like a breakup, like someone went away or someone didn't treat you nicely. Like I feel like something happened where it just didn't go the way that you thought it might have gone.
Well, yeah. I had my younger brother. He kind of just up and disappeared here a few years ago on me, and he had some health issues, but
I'm sorry, what? I couldn't hear the last part. What?
My younger brother, he had some health issues when he left, and he just completely dropped off the radar and quit talking to me, never called me again.
I have a question. Was he, I don't know really how to put this on here, but was he addicted to something, like a substance?
Yes, alcohol.
A what?
Severely. He was addicted to drinking.
Okay, that's what I got, because I keep feeling my water bottle. Okay. The thing is, and what I keep getting is that he is okay. But I feel like a phone call will be due very soon if you still have the same phone number. Perhaps if you don't, an email, or he will somehow find you like through friends or family, through maybe mom or dad or brother, sister, someone. That's what I feel.
Well, tonight's topic was the hospice.
I'm sorry, what?
And, tonight's topic for Stephen, he was talking about hospice.
Yes, you may not have heard that. I was talking about
well,
hospice.
I found out just by accident through an email, that he was actually in hospice, and he was on a do not resuscitate order,
right,
and passed. He passed a week ago.
You mean did he cross over to the other side?
Yes, but he's doing great.
Because that's what I keep getting. Is like I keep getting he's okay. So I didn't really. That's why I was like, you're gonna get some message, but I guess you already got it. Okay.
Well, that I did. He was actually my stepbrother, but I never called him stepbrother. I just
right.
He was my little brother since he was 2, and he was 49 when he passed.
Oh, wow.
But the thing is, I very clearly heard him, a disembodied voice, and I thought it to be his say, "I'm sorry."
Well, but I keep getting from, now it makes a little bit more sense, is because I'm like, he's okay, but I keep getting is like, he's looking at me and he goes like, see, I'm okay, I'm totally fine. But you know what he does though, and I don't know if you've noticed it yet or not, but if you have like papers on the desk, like he'll move them. He'll like make like a rustling noise, like when you like move papers, make like a sound. That's what I feel. Like he'll start to do that. I don't know if he has started it yet or not.
Not that, but the odd thing is, about a week, or maybe a week and a half before I ever even got this email, I had this dream, and about him. It was just a short dream, and he appeared to me, and I was on an investigation with some friends in this dream, and he goes, "Hey Jay," and I go, "Yeah," and he scratched on a wall, and which I found very odd, because he knew I was open and in tune and to the spirits, but it always scared him, and like, but now it's just like the signal was so strong about when I asked him, I said, "How are you?" And I'm great. It's wonderful, and like you said, but it was very brief, and I don't know if I've heard before, but that it's not good really to try to communicate with them when they first cross over. I've been told, because it's supposedly confusing. Is that true?
He was what?
He asked, was it true that if you try to communicate with spirit soon after they cross over, that it's confusing to the spirit?
No, there's nothing like that. It's almost like picking up a phone and just calling like an old friend. There is no confusion there, because everything just goes away when they, go to the other one. That's all. There's really no confusion. I mean, the only confusion could be that maybe sometimes what they say don't make sense right away, because they're kind of like, doesn't get it where they are yet. But other than that, like if you give it like a few days, even a couple of weeks even, it shouldn't be a problem. It'll be much more easier there won't be any confusion.
Okay. That's thank you for answering that, because that's kind of bothered me since I heard that, because I've been reluctant.
Right. No, you shouldn't be. I mean, you should always try to talk and see what happens. Sometimes it might be any form. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for your call, Jay.
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate y'all's time, and I'll be sitting back and listening in. And
awesome.
And I appreciate you very much.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you as well. Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Well, that was an interesting reading, and I hope that we could give that you gave Jay some insight into communicating with his brother, and
yeah, I hope so.
Very interesting. Well, the call-in lines are now open, guys. It is 704-246-3460. You'd think I'd know that number by now. It's a good thing I'm not dyslexic. So if you'd like to call in for a reading, we are available to take your call. So please do. Karina, as far as your tarot cards, what deck do you use?
Steampunk by Barbara Moore.
Steampunk by Barbara Moore. I hear that you have to be connected to the deck. It has to make a connection with you to work. Is that true? Karina? Hello? Well, we seem to have lost Karina momentarily. We do have a caller on the line, Miss Kimberly Simon, and we'll try to get Karina back on here. I don't know what happened, but Kimberly, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, here comes Karina back. I must have hung up on her.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I saw my phone going blip, 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 and that's it, so I apologize.
Well, I'm telling you, every time we get together with psychics and mediums, Spirit just seems to try to interact with us. But
well, that's good. I like the interaction. I just don't like the fact that they hang up the phone.
Well, we have a caller on the line.
So what I was saying is I use the Steampunk by Barbara Moore.
That's correct. I heard that. And you have to really connect with the deck for it to work.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's what I need to learn. Kimberly, are you still with us? Kimberly?
Yes, hi, I'm here.
Okay, Karina, can you hear Kimberly? Oh, Lord, we've lost Karina. I'm just not a very good button pusher.
Oh. I've had that. I've done that. Do you want me to hang up?
No. We'll try to get Karina back. I'm sure she'll call us. And sorry for the technical difficulties. But those happen. It's live radio.
They certainly do happen.
Kim, I loved your show and your guest tonight. And
oh, thank you.
Let's see, I've got Karina on hold. Hang on. I think it will let me get her off of hold. Well, Skype is not cooperating with me.
Oh, you know what it is? I think you brought me on and knocked her off. And you need to add me to the group call.
Well, add her to the group call or something.
Or add her to the group call if she calls back, yes.
I'm trying, folks. Like I say, I'm not a very good button pusher. But we will try to get Karina back on so she can give Kimberly her reading.
Ooh.
Let me just try to hang up on her and call her back. You're still here, right, Kimberly?
Yes.
Wonderful. I didn't want to hang up on everybody. Let me call her back here and see what happens. If I call Karina, my current call will be put on hold.
Oh, yeah, you're trying to do two separate calls.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is confusing.
Take her name on the left. Do you see your contacts on the left?
Right.
Click on her name and drag her in to the big Skype window.
Okay, I don't think that worked. Karina.
Yes.
I seem to have cut you off, and my apologies.
No, that's okay. I think, you know what, I think it's a good day that we did it today because I think they're trying to show us that, you know, they got us covered and, you know.
Yeah, really. And plus, I'm not a very good button pusher. Kimberly, are you back with us?
Kimberly. Please tell me you're there, darling.
Well, we're trying to get Kimberly back on. We were talking about tarot decks, and I find that very interesting. How do you know when you've connected with the right deck?
Let me tell you a story. I went to Barnes & Noble, and I saw one that stood out to me. It was like a dark box, and it had like swirly things on there. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, And I looked some more, and I left. I wasn't too happy. So then that night, I had a dream where I saw a bench and two, drawings, like of a male and a female sitting on this little bench, like people, you want to say. And I'm like, okay, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I realized it said 10 of Cups. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I went online, and I went into Amazon. And so I typed in, tarot decks, because I'm thinking Amazon, they got to have, a bazillion of them. Uh-huh. And you know what? The first one came up was the same box that I saw at Barnes & Noble, the dark one, with the squirrely things. And the first picture that they chose, Amazon, to post it, to show you what it looks like, was a 10 of Cups with the same person, with the same gentleman, and with the same lady. So, you know what? I went back to Barnes & Noble and picked me up a box of it. And you know what? I love it. They go everywhere with me. That's the trick. In order to really understand it, you want to be able to have them comfortably in your bag or in your suitcase or wherever you go. Sometimes I'll even keep them on my bed, and when I'm really have a question, I'll pull them out and I'll just ask a question, and whatever pops out, that's usually my answer.
Wow. That is an art, and one I would like to practice and learn. We do have
I said, it's 15 weeks, and we do it either on Skype, phone, sometimes I'll even do email, where I email you okay, tell me what you see, or however, and I'll explain after you send it back to me. I'll say, okay, look at this. For example, let's just say we're doing it right now, and I'll say, okay, take a look at one card and just, do you see the trees? Trees symbolize learning, spiritual learning, or going back to school, or whatever it is. And you'll also learn the symbology, but also many different things.
Fascinating. I'd love to. We do have a caller, area code 416. You're on the air.
Hi, it's Kimberly.
Kimberly Simon.
She's back.
She's back.
Hey, I used the phone. I used the old technology.
Well, sometimes that works the best.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. Old technology works better than the new one, because you know what? They can't record you on the old technology. Do you have one of those rotary phones or something?
That would be better.
Wow, there you go.
Well, Kimberly, do you have a question for Karina?
Yes, my question, it's always the same thing, Stephen. My work, where it's going, and love.
Honey, those are not all questions. Everybody, every 1 or 3 people have that question. I'm just joking around with you. The first thing you keep getting is work. Why do you keep feeling like you work with your hands? What's with the hands? Do you do a lot of research on the computer, or what's with the hands, if you don't mind asking?
I'm on the computer all the time.
She Googles everything.
Okay. You know what I keep getting? A research. Some sort of a research company or something. Something in the research area. Almost researching if something's good or something's not working, something like that. Does that make sense to you?
In a way, because people can't find things. They always come to me to find them.
Right. I think you should maybe think about it, doing it on your own, as a private person, maybe charging people extra, or something. If they need something, you find out what it is, what the cheapest price is, and charge them something. That, I don't know, if that just sounds like a research is really your area.
Okay.
I hope it makes sense. I mean...
Oh, well, they always do come to me. I mean, I have friends who say, I can't find this, help me, because they know I'll find it in no time.
Oh, well, there you go. So think about that. I think that should be good for you. I think he'll definitely get you somewhere. Okay. The second part, I keep feeling like an August romance.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the name that I got, and I usually don't get names, is Ted.
Okay.
So, call me back in August and let me know.
Do you know a Ted, Kimberly?
No, I don't.
Wow. So this will be a new acquaintance.
Apparently. Yes, I'll let you know.
Definitely, please.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a blessed one.
Bless you. And thanks, Stephen.
Oh, thank you for calling, Kimberly, and you have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, Karina, that was great.
Thank you.
You know, I know Kimberly is a life coach, spiritually, and yeah, she works with many people and shares her gifts and her knowledge. And
right.
She's a very, very dear friend of mine.
Well, she deserves to find a Ted.
Well, the call-in lines are now open, 704-246-3460. If you'd like to call in and get a reading from Karina, we've got about 8 minutes before the break, so call in now. And while we're waiting on that call, Karina, tell us a little bit more about the tarot decks. Now, this really fascinates me. Oh, well.
I mean, they start, as you know yourself, it all started back, like, I think, like, the original, the first one that was ever created was, like, 13, I think, cards. I think 13 or 12. I know it was something like, not what it is, 7, 8 now. And you know what they did? They took each one, and they recreated, I think, like 3 more. They made it like almost like a picture story. That's why we have 7, 8 of them. But they're an amazing tool. Like, you know, if you, like, I always have them with me, really. Like, if I'm sitting in a restaurant and sometimes I can't choose what to eat, yes, I know it's funny. I'll sit in my bag and I'll just shuffle and which one flips over. I'm like, okay, you know, and whatever the answer is, I just take it. Because really, you want to treat them like your best friend. Like, you want to ask them questions. You know, they just don't talk back to you, you know, but they do talk intuitively. So I think it's really cool. It's like, you know, you go somewhere and you're like, okay, well, I get this job, why not? You know, and you go into, like, just even there, just sit there and just, like, play around with it and whatever grabs, you know. So I love it. It's just an amazing thing to have, and a lot of people are like, oh, that's, like, so dark, you know, you shouldn't have that or whatever. And I'm like, okay, like, it's the same thing as, like, going to a doctor, right? Like, you know, the doctor's going to want to know what you have. Like, if you have an infection, it's not like he's going to, you know, tell you to take, like, Tylenol. He's going to research it and tell you what antibiotic to take, right? So how is that any different?
Right, and I think what we do is sometimes and oftentimes associated with the occult. And I think that's a furthest thing from what we do, because we're trying to help people with the best of intentions.
Right, but at the same time, it's like, you know, if it was so bad, right, like, I don't think none of us would have this thing. You know, I consider this to be an amazing blessing, because you get to not only help others, but help yourself. You learn a lot from this. You know, it's not just like, I think it's an amazing thing. Overall, it's an amazing thing. And I'm trying to change this whole thing where people think, oh, this is so dark. Or, like, no, nothing is dark. I'm like, it's not like I'm sitting there and purposely, you know, breaking people up or something, you know?
Right. I understand. We do have a caller. Area code 559. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello. Who are we speaking
Hello,
with?
Steve.
Hello. This sounds...
It's Kathy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like Kathy. How are you this evening?
It's Kathy. I'm okay.
Well, it's
okay.
Great to hear from you, and thanks for calling into Alternative Frequencies. Do you have a question for Karina?
No, not really. I just, you know, I had a lot of health problems lately, and I just kind of want to make sure that everything's going to turn out okay or whatever.
Turn out as far as okay as in What
Oh,
way?
I can barely hear you.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, can you hear me better? No.
Maybe it might be my phone. I don't know.
Okay, well, I can't speak any louder because my phone's already like in my mouth.
You're loud and clear here. Kathy's question was, she's had several health problems lately, and I don't know if you could hear her, but she was just wondering if things were going to turn out okay in that respect.
Oh, yeah, within about 4 weeks.
In about 4 weeks.
Yes.
Could you hear that, Kathy?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
That's okay, hon. She said that, yes, your situation was going to be okay, and there will be a big improvement in about 4 weeks.
Okay, cool.
Okay?
Okay, looking forward to that. Okay.
Well, God bless you, and thanks for calling. I'm sorry you can't hear Karina, but that...
Oh, yeah, I just can't hear her on my phone. I can hear her fine through the headphones, but I have to take the headphones off to be on the phone.
I'll tell you what, isn't technology wonderful? But yes, Kathy. Kathy's a very good friend of mine, and Kathy, I do wish you the best.
Okay, Steve. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is it Karina?
It's Karina, yes.
Okay. You guys have a good evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I'm sorry she couldn't hear me.
Uh-oh. Yeah, well, I cut her off again, guys. I'll tell you what. I try to push the right buttons, but it doesn't seem to work. So here she's calling me back. Karina, I am sorry. I tried to push the right buttons.
That's okay.
I really do.
Okay, I think it's a good night.
Oh, yeah, we're having a great time. And, guys, the call-in number is 704-246-3460 if you'd like a reading from Karina. But first, we're going to have to take a quick break.
Awesome.
So we will be, as soon as I can push the right button, we will be right back.
Dixie Ghostland Paracon, Aiken, South Carolina, July the 27th and 28th, 2013. www.lightstream-media.com. 4 major paranormal and historical hotspots, paranormal celebrities, paranormal acknowledgments and awards. Come see paranormal celebrity Blaine Rohan of Scare Radio International, Stephen Hill, author of Something Unseen and radio host of Alternative Frequencies, Andrea Perrin, author of the trilogy House of Darkness, House of Light, Jason Staton of Ghost Chat Radio, the Paranormal Rebel with Sepia, co-manager of TAX, Jeff Leeper. Also see Daryl Campbell of My Ghost Story Caught on Camera, the entire team of paranormal pros, Kim Brulette and Chris Matheny, co-authors of Secrets in the Shallows, and radio hosts. See the Bama Boys of Deep South Paranormal, Sci-Fi, and Keith Age of Spook TV and the Orb Tones. Come to Dixie Ghostland Paracon, www.lightstream-media.com.
If you'd like to find out more about Something Unseen, you can do so by visiting Amazon. Check out The True Story of My Haunting, Something Unseen.
You're listening to Alternative Frequencies with host Stephen Hill. Now back to the show.
And we are back here live with my special guest, Channel Medium Karina, and we do have a caller. Area code 610. You're live on Alternative Frequencies.
Hello, folks.
Hello.
Stephen and Karina. I'm really getting some enlightenment out of your show here. The first time I tuned in to Alternative.
Awesome. See, I'm
so I don't want to chew a lot of time.
Yeah,
I'm going to kill my volume. Anyway, so I found it interesting. I just want to say a few things about the last few years of my life, and I'll speed my speech up here a little bit, and
Can you speak up a little bit? It's kind of like muffled. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I was through a lot in the last 2 years. The death of my mother, and she lived to a ripe old age. I took care of her. So October of 11, she passed on.
Why does she keep telling me that she held on as long as she could?
Well, I think she held on for me, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, mean, she
Okay,
was
that's what I keep getting. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also, I keep getting, and she's saying, why won't you call her? I don't know who she's talking about. I know it's not her. She says, why won't you call her? And she's got this, like, a little, like, of a New York accent. She's like, why won't you call her?
Huh. The problem is, you see, I had her cremated, and we never spoke about, you know, what to do after death. So she always said, keep it cheap, you know, because you don't want to spend a lot of money. And you're going to need the money. And so
but
anyway,
I keep feeling like he wants you to call somebody. I don't know who that is.
And the thing is, you know, like, after she died, I was down in the basement in my computer, and this was a few weeks after, and I heard footsteps upstairs. And of course, I'm alone. I was alone in the house.
Right.
And of course, it was dark out, so I killed the main electrical switch thinking someone came in the house. And obviously, her coffee cup, she used to enjoy instant coffee in the evening, and it was laying on the floor, you know. And I felt this rush of cold, like icy air, you know. And I said, everything's all right, you know. I said, I have things under control. This was about 2 weeks after she was gone. And then anyway, then I moved. I sold the house. Not because of that. Believe me, it was not the reason at all. But anyway, I sold it for financial reasons. Anyway, long story short, I had a visitation, sort of a dream, that last August, and she said that I got about 2 years left to go, you know. And she was real nice about it, don't get me wrong. I guess I'm...
No. I mean, that's not the impression I'm getting at all, so don't even worry about it.
I might be sounding a little gruff because I have a gruff voice, and...
No, you sound totally fine on the radio. Trust me, you have a radio voice.
She was very loving, I should say. It's just, you know, she gave me a hug and all this and that, and said, well, you know, I said, you can come back any time, and, you know, and she really didn't answer that, and I somehow came out and said, you know, how long do I have? So I don't know if there's any truth to it or not, but, you know, it's some difficult times. The girlfriend had a nervous breakdown, and she's getting better now, but, you know, our relationship's improving and stuff, and hanging in there, but health isn't the greatest. And, I'm 57, so, you know.
Join the club, brother.
I'm getting up there, so the things aren't working.
No, I feel like he's fine. She held on as long as she could. I don't know what she means by have you called her. I don't know who that is. Just listen to the messages as they become more clear, and they will become more clear. But other than that, I don't feel like there is anything that he really wants to release so much.
Well, that's good. You know, I'm just, like I say, I'm just taking life as it comes right now.
Definitely.
I'm enjoying power. A lot of people, the Christians, don't really like it too much when I tell them I'm into this. And I don't care whether they believe me or not. You know, I've had other paranormal experiences. Never anything bad. Never anything bad.
Right.
I have a good friend of mine.
Just keep exploring it. Just keep exploring the gift, and you'll eventually get to where you need to be.
Yeah, and I got a recording from a cemetery. So I have that on digital. I never bothered with ghost boxes, but so I get some stuff on digital once in a while. But, you know, it's her voice. So, again, you know, my friend was an atheist and non-believer in God, not believer in anything. And he was with me, so he changed his attitude once we got the recording. So, anyway, okay, well, it was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Keep in touch. Call us.
And thank you for your call.
Oh, thank you, Stephen. I'll tune in every Tuesday from here on.
Man, that would be great. Love to have you. And one thing I want to say, you know, if I'm judged by, and I consider myself a Christian, but if I'm judged for what I do, I always point out, and these letters are written in red, judge not lest you be judged.
Absolutely. That's a good one. Thank you. That's a good one.
You know, walk a mile in my shoes, know what I know, and maybe you'll change your beliefs. That's what I like to tell them. But again, thank you for your call.
Well, thank you, Steve. Keep up the good work. I'll be listening.
Thank you very much. Wow, Karina, what an interesting caller.
Wow.
That was just awesome. And I hope that you gave him some closure. And I know that later he'll figure out who he's supposed to be calling.
Yeah, I know. All I got was like, have you called her? Like with the accent. I'm like, really?
Sometimes the message doesn't ring a bell, but then later the bell rings so clearly we wonder why we didn't hear it to begin with. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like a reading from Karina, the call-in number again, 704-246-3460, and we do have a caller. Let's see if I can add her to here without cutting us all off. Area code 208. You are on Alternative Frequencies.
Hello, is anybody there?
Hello.
Hi. Oh, now I hear you. Okay.
There she is. Who are we speaking with?
This is Amy.
Amy in the chat room. Amy, what a pleasure. You have a question for Karina.
Yeah, I just been feeling a little restless lately, and
I'm sorry, honey. I have no idea what you're saying. Amy, honey, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. All I hear is like you're underwater. So can you maybe speak up or move the phone a little bit?
Or I could translate.
okay. Can you hear me better?
A little bit.
Sorry about that. I said I've been feeling really restless lately.
Stephen, I'm having a hard time.
Okay, I didn't even catch that. Amy, could you tell us one more time what you just said?
Yes. I was just saying, I've been feeling really restless lately.
She's been feeling really restless lately, Karina.
Oh, I'm sorry. She sounds like she's underwater for me, so I apologize. The reason that is because she needs to start kind of honing in on what she is drawn up. Like if it's like to draw or to paint or to read. Oh, man, did you have to say that? Awesome. So, that's validation right there. Put more into that because you're going to actually see messages in there. In the writing, in the paint drawing, or what did you say you do, paint?
Yeah, I just got a big commission last weekend.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thanks. Okay. I don't know. There's times where I just want to sell everything and live in a van and travel the country right now, and I've never felt that way before.
Well, I feel you're having, you're feeling restless. You're don't know where to channel your energy, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what Karina was touching on is, your art. So I would say, and of course I don't read people, but I would say channel that energy, focus on your art, and don't think you'll feel it as restless. Would you agree with that, Karina?
Yes, absolutely.
You're the medium here, not me.
No. I'm just having a hard time,
right.
Hearing her because it sounds like she's underwater for me. So, but no, I agree with what you said.
Okay.
Is there any particular direction I'm supposed to be going?
I'm sorry, is there any what going on?
Particular direction that she needs to be going in.
In the art direction. In the art direction.
Where?
This one I'm having a hard time with because I think you're so restless that it's kind of making me a little bit unfocused. And why don't you send me a message on Facebook and I'll answer this one. That way maybe it'll be more easier for both of us to reconnect.
Amy, she's suggesting you contact her on Facebook at Karina, Channel Medium, and it would be easier for her to connect and perhaps answer your question.
I'm sorry, guys. Thank you for trying.
Well, again, contact Karina on her Facebook page. That's Karina, Channel Medium, and she'll be glad to help you out.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you for calling. God bless you.
I'm sorry, Stephen, I really couldn't hear her anything. Like, it sounded she was underwater.
Well, that happens sometime. Again, this is, we're using technology to communicate, and sometimes the idiot pushing the buttons, wah, messes up, and sometimes the communications don't come through as clear as we'd like for them to. Karina, we have about 15 minutes left. Do you feel like taking another call?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, I was hoping that Hazy herself, the owner of the network, said she might call, but I guess she got waylaid. I was hoping she would call in, but the call-in line is open, 704-246-3460, if you would like a reading from Karina. Now, Karina, those tarot cards, I just want to be clear. You will help me to
learn them, absolutely.
Learn them, okay. Well, I was going to try to say interpret them. I couldn't think of the word.
That's all right. I got you covered.
Well, that's nice.
I'm like the insurance company.
Well, my insurance company is nationwide, and they are on your side as long as you pay the bill and don't collide with anyone.
Well, see, I'm also on your side. Going to be a ship partner with Nationwide on your side.
But, yeah, you know, I do appreciate what you're doing, the readings, the call-ins. And I got a question for you, if I may. I've got an event coming up July 27th, 28th in Aiken, South Carolina. I'm very excited about it.
It's going to be dissolved.
It's going to be what?
Dissolved, like that's what I heard. Like it's going to like be okay, but things will be settled or something.
Well, I've got an event coming up. I'm looking forward to a good time, and that's what I'm hoping is going to take place.
Okay.
And I'm very excited about it. I'll be speaking there, giving a presentation on what I do. My electronic
you know what I heard? I heard that you said you have a death coming up, like DEBT. That's why I was like, why is it going to be? And I said it was going to be dissolved, like it's going to be settled. I'm sorry. That I cannot believe I heard that. So
a debt coming up. Well, yeah, I hope all my debts can be resolved. Make my life a lot easier.
No, but that event will be a very exciting event.
Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Zeta. I know somewhere. Let me get my guest back on the line. I'm telling you what, I'm just adding people to the call and cutting people off, and got people on hold. She's calling me back. What a great lady. What a great lady. And I've just cut Z off probably. So let me add Z to the call. The owner of the Hazy Network just called in, and I'm trying to get her back here on the line, and I apologize to the listeners and to you and to the callers for being such an idiot when it comes to pushing these buttons. Let me see if I can. Well, I'm not a great multitasker, it's quite evident.
Oh, believe me, I'm probably the worst. I can like talk on phone at the same time. So that's just what I'm multitasking about.
I'm going to figure out how to add Zeta to the group call here in just a moment.
Sure. I think you have to go to like where it says Skype, and then you add Qual, and then you punch in their number, and then you add them. I think that's how it's usually done.
Well, I'm trying to add her, but it's not really working out. It says call on hold, resume call. Add the group call. There it is. Hey, Z.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
Z. Oh, are you out there? This is Zeta, the owner of the Hazy Radio Network, the gracious lady that carries our show on her great network.
Awesome.
Zeta, do you have a question? And thank you for calling in.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me, Colin. I actually do have a question. My question is about my day job, my normal job.
No.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, are you there? I'm so sorry. My mom was asking me a question. Totally. Okay, so I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I'm actually asking about my day job.
Okay, what would that be? If you don't
It
mind me
is.
asking.
I'm a corporate trader, and it's a fairly new position. I'll be in it about a year in August, and I'm checking to see if this will go anywhere or if this is just kind of a standby thing.
I would say hold on for it for a while, but it will go somewhere within 2, 3, 4, within about 4 months. It will go somewhere within 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll expand more, or
yeah, it'll grow.
Thank goodness. Do you see any kind of a financial increase with this position?
7 weeks.
In 7 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I like it. I like it.
Well, when you get it, call me.
I like it.
I want part of it. I want part of it. Part of it is mine.
Well, let's hope it's big enough where I can share.
In other words, keep your day job, Zita.
In other words, keep my day job. Yeah. I'll be keeping my day job for a while. Yeah. Well, that was my question. I appreciate it.
Hey,
You're welcome.
That was good news.
Thank you for calling in. And
okay, I know you have calls on hold, so I will go ahead and step back then. But thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Zita, and thanks for hosting Alternative Frequencies on your wonderful radio network.
No problem. Happy to do it for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good show.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was Miss Hazy herself, Miss Zita.
Wow.
And so happy that she called in, and she was listening to us after all.
Yay!
Well, guys, we've got maybe time for one more call. Again, the number 704-246-3460. If you would like a reading with Karina, and I'll try not to hang up on her, I promise.
Okay.
But
just that'll be your last try.
Yeah,
I'm
really.
just joking.
But Karina, again, could you tell people how to get in touch with you?
Oh, absolutely. That's the best part about all of this. Is I am reachable. They can call me, which is 847-868-0124.
And I'm typing that in the chat room right now. So those in the chat room can certainly reach
I'm going to repeat it again, just in case. 847-868-0124.
That's exactly what I typed. So,
awesome.
Yeah, good job. But that is how you can reach Karina. And, you know, Karina, you also do crystal healing channeling.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
That one is a really interesting. I've never heard about it myself, actually. One night, I don't remember what year this was. I think probably after 2007, maybe it was 2008 or something. And one day I had this horrendous pain, and all I kept saying was okay, crystal cords, and I just channeled a bunch of them, and then I didn't realize what it was or what I'd done. And then I left it alone for a while, actually, and then I was talking to a friend of mine who was a healer, and we were on the phone, and I did the same thing because she had something, and she goes oh, you channeled this, and I'm well, where's it coming from? She goes your great-grandmother. I said, oh, and after that, I've actually went online and started to learn a little bit more about each, crystal and stuff, so that way, I don't just sit there and be oh, this does this, and I don't know what it does, so as time went on, I learned more and more, and I became more comfortable with it, and I started doing it more and more, yes. But it is crystal healing, yes. Well, so basically, if you have a headache or something, I'll say, rose quartz, and then overlaying with, citrine or something, so, yeah.
Wow. I was in a metaphysical store one time. I did a book signing, and gave a presentation on spirit communication through electronics, is what like I do, trying to say. And the place was full of crystals. And, how can you tell? I mean, can you hold the crystal in your hand and feel a connection?
Yeah, you feel it. I know, like sometimes they vibrate, sometimes they, do different things. Yeah.
Well, I've got a crystal skull that was given to me by a lady at a paranormal investigators convention. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I can pass my energy through that skull, and it's very small, about the size of a ping pong ball. But you're right, it will actually vibrate in my hands. Wow. I don't know why. It's a very slight vibration, and every time that it happens, it kind of scares me, but it amazes me. And I think...
No, don't be scared of it, because it's just something that it's grown in earth, so it can't be bad.
Well, I think that they're like energy banks. They store energy, is what I'm trying to say. And maybe when I pass my energy through it, as an empathic, I can put my hands 6 inches apart, they'll get real hot. And that's the energy, I guess, the positive and negative, if you will.
Right.
And when I hold that skull in my hand and I do that, I think it's storing up the energy, and maybe through the vibration it's releasing it. I wish I knew more about crystals. It's a very interesting subject. I'm just a fledgling. I'm just learning.
Yeah, believe me, like I said, every day is a learning experience.
I've just began my journey, and can't wait to see what it holds in the future. But Karina, you have been an excellent guest, and I know that you read me like a dime novel, and I'm sure you led insight to it, everyone who called in this evening. And,
I'm really blessed. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity.
Well, no, the pleasure's all mine, and thank you for the opportunity for giving people a chance to call in and get some help and some closure, some guidance. So thank you again, and we will be in contact with you very soon.
Oh, thank you. Have a blessed night, everyone, whoever listened in. And the message for tonight is be who you are. Accept, anything that you do as your own journey. Don't try to please anybody or anything like that. It's never going to work.
Well, like the old song, you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself. Karina, thanks again. Thanks again, and we will talk with you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.